Media missionary Jared van Berkel, who heads up Fantail Studios, who are based in Christchurch, joins me on the show today, currently zooming in from Winnipeg in Canada, much further away than Christchurch is from Auckland. He's there working on his latest project, an upcoming feature film where he's the writer and co-director. It's called The Rescue, and the film is based on a true story of a woman named Amy who was trapped in an Alaskan snowstorm for 30 hours. Kia ora. Welcome, Jared.
Kia ora, Lizzie. Thanks for having me.
Good to connect with you again. I've been following you on social media. I can't keep a track of you. Like, you're at the Cannes Film Festival, then you're in Winnipeg. Like, you're just all over the place. How many months have you been away?
So my wife and I and our 3 kids, we left New Zealand on the 11th of February.
Wow.
And
6 months.
I know. And it has just continued to be a saga of highs and lows, challenges and victories. And it's just, it's been one of these endeavors that's taking longer than I'd hoped, harder than I hoped, but definitely no excuses. God's calling you to do it. So you just soldier on day by day, doing what God's called you to do.
Some people would give up, though. It doesn't seem to be in your DNA.
Well, look, to be fair, I could probably pinpoint in the last 6 months 2 or 3 times where I've gone, man, God, this is really difficult. We're trying to raise $4.5 million for an $8 million film that'll play in theatres around the world. We're hoping to reach 30 million people with the gospel, so it's a big challenge. And definitely I had a moment in a cafe the other day where I went, God, if I'm being really honest with you right now, Father, I don't know if I'm good enough for this. I feel like this is too hard for me. I think it's beyond me. I don't know if I've got what it takes. And I just felt him speak back to me really gently saying, hey, that's a big question, but it's not the right question.
Oh.
So, okay, what's the right question, Father? And he said, is my son Jesus worthy? Even if I never give you the breakthrough and the success, is he worthy of all of your sacrifice in the meantime? And I went, yeah, Jesus is absolutely worthy. And he said, well, it's really simple then. Give Jesus every drop of blood, sweat, and tears and keep serving me, knowing that Jesus is worthy.
Wow. Okay.
And I went, okay, unique conversation.
Might just get another coffee
things.
now.
Yeah. And then it went on a little bit. He said, Jared, you like to think that you're a living sacrifice, like my word says. I went, yeah, God, I am. I'm a living sacrifice. And he goes, well, I'm wondering then, why are you always so confused and surprised when things heat up and there's a bit of fire around you in life? That's the whole point of being a living sacrifice, is this fire.
Okay.
So you should have a joyful attitude in this. And I went, all right, Lord, we'll settle for an obedient one for now, and I'll work on getting a joyful one.
Hey, so Jared, give me your best elevator pitch on the film for listeners who don't know anything about it.
Elevator pitch.
Okay, we might be going to the 30th floor. Go.
Okay. All right. So it's based on a true story, which is phenomenal. And the first third of the movie is a physical rescue where mountaineers and Coast Guard are trying to get to Amy and her husband Craig at the top of this mountain. And they can't get to them. When Amy's finally rescued, they discover she's got extreme frostbite, is going to lose her toes, is going to be rehab for years, learning how to walk again. And her whole lifestyle is built on her love of the outdoors. She's a helicopter mechanic. So her identity is all in her physical achievements, and that begins to get stripped away from her. So the rest of the film pivots into an emotional and spiritual rescue as God begins to reveal to her that she is his daughter and she's got nothing to prove.
Ding. 30th floor.
Ding. That's it.
I like that. I tell you, I also like the fact that you said she's a helicopter mechanic. And I was like,
she's a very cool.
She sounds cool. I like her.
Amy's very cool.
How did you get attached to this project? Because where is Amy based in the world? I know she was up in Alaska. Is she from that part of the world?
Actually, she's in Colorado now. But long story short, I met Amy. This will blow your mind, Lizzie. I met Amy 4 years ago in Nelson. And I was shooting a TV series called Grace. It was meant to be around 9-minute episodes. They played on Shine TV and a couple other channels around the world. But Amy was episode number 9.
Oh,
And we couldn't get Amy's episode down short enough to fit in the series format. And one of my interns said, "Hey, why don't you write a script and make it into a movie?" And I said, "Wow, because that's going to cost me, that's going to cost, millions.
yeah,
And
be
I don't have the
quiet.
emotional energy or the faith right now. So that's a terrible idea." 2 years went past and we put Amy's testimony on the back burner, trying to figure out what to do with it. But this idea of making it into a movie kept growing in my heart to maybe this was a God idea. And then one night in Invercargill, of all places, I was hanging out with my spiritual father and I was just chatting around how I struggle with some Christian films being too cheesy,
Oh,
where
tell me
everybody
about it.
smiles, linger too long, and God turns up like a fairy godmother and just fixes everything in the 11th hour.
Yeah.
And I said, "Look, I've got this amazing story of this woman trapped on the mountains and all of this, told in the whole 9 yards." I said, "But it's been 2 years since I met her. I've never spoken to her again. And right now, I can't even remember what her name is. So I don't even know how I'd go about getting the life rights to the story." I go to sleep, I get up in the morning, and when I wake up, I've got an email from her
Oh, blow
saying,
my mind.
"Hey, I've wanted to reach out to you every week for the last year to see what you want to do with my testimony. But every week, God's told me to be patient and wait. This morning, he said, today's today. Contact Jared and find out what's on his heart." So that was my big
Yes,
moment.
that's pretty
Okay,
good.
Jesus, you've got my attention. Let's go for it. Let's write the script. Let's take it to the film's card market. Let's present it to Angel Studios and a bunch of other secular mainstream companies. And let's get this ball rolling and let's make something of faith and make it awesome.
And so the cool thing is, I know you've sent me a few sort of things from YouTube and stuff. You've got some pretty cool people connected to this right now. Like, is it your
Yeah.
executive producer? He's done a bunch of
Yeah.
films. Tell us about him.
Yeah, so Grant Bradley, amazing guy. He's been an executive producer for over, I think he's done 55 feature films. And he began to follow my career in the background during Mana Atua, during the gang film.
Mm-hmm.
And when that came out, he loved that movie and reached out to me and said, "Hey, what are you doing next? Do you want some mentoring?" And I said, "Yeah, I'd love some mentoring. This is what I'm doing next." And to put some perspective around Grant, like he had Mel Gibson starring in one of his last films.
Okay.
So he's up there, like he knows a thing or two. And he said, "Well, why don't you write a script, get a little bit of courage, get a little bit of money, and come to the Cannes film market with me, and I'll start introducing you to all the big boys."
Okay.
So that's what we've been doing. And now he and I are on the phone together probably every other day for the last 6 months. And he it's a little bit paint by numbers and he's telling me what to do. And then I work really hard to do that and then come back to him with, "Okay, what's next?"
So the fact that you're still up there, is that because you're trying to secure the funding and things? Like you haven't come back to New Zealand for 6
Yeah.
months?
So part of it was we needed to take the script to a really authentic level. So we moved to Colorado for a while, rented a house down the road from the real couple while I was working on the script, just to get it really, really authentic. Then took that to the Cannes film market about 3 months ago. That went very well. We now have 4 major companies talking to us around the rights to release the film once we make it. And then we're looking to shoot the film in Canada. Because we can get better tax incentives there doing a New Zealand co-production agreement with New Zealand and Canada. So I've been doing all the location scouting, interviewing potential departments of heads and all of those sorts of things. And then 3 weeks ago, I went down into the US because we're finally at a position where we could start meeting with investors. And so now, at this stage of the journey, I'm finally bringing it in front of investors. So I was in Aspen for 10 weeks. If you've seen Dumb and Dumber, you know where Aspen is. It's where the beer flows like wine. And then down into Texas where the oil is. So I was there for 3 weeks. Now I'm back in Canada with my wife and kids for a little bit. And then I carry on very soon on the road again on some fundraising campaigns.
Wow. That's incredible. So for people who want to sort of follow a bit of the journey, the website is rescue.com. I mean...
So rescue.film.
Rescue.film. Well, I'm
I
glad you.
know, because we're being young and cool, so we're not using .com,
Yeah.
.film, because we're making a film. See what we did there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, like that's incredible. But yeah, it does take a lot of effort and it does cost you personally and your family. So, what could we, if we wanted to pray for you, pray about, Jared?
Wow. Okay, two big things. Would love prayer just for our family for breakthrough around the film, that God just opens up the right doors with the right investors. Would be awesome. And then the other thing would be praying for my practical home back in New Zealand, which is rented out. And we recently heard from our property managers about some pretty extreme water damage
Oh,
to our home in New Zealand, which doesn't look like it's going to be covered by insurance. And so
oh,
we're doing that fun little dance at the moment, but it's a little extreme. So prayer for our home in New Zealand. See if there's any building companies in the Canterbury area that want to give us a call and help us with some fairly significant water damage repairs, let me know.
yeah, definitely.
Um, but it's a pretty big bill.
Yeah. Wow, that's huge. Well, I'm glad I asked because we will pray for you. I'll pray for you on air with my sanctuary listeners. And thanks for your time today. I'm always blown away by you and your projects, having, spent a bit of time with you over the years. And yeah, keep going. We'll be praying for you. And I can't wait to see the final result when that comes. And then, of course, we'll be having another interview about it, won't we?
That's right. When we finally get the film finished, Lizzie, let me know and I'll get you a red carpet premiere ticket
Yeah,
and come join me.
I will.
And come sit with my mum. Hi,
Okay.
mum.
Yes, your mum, who's a sanctuary listener, indeed.
Yeah.
So good. Rescue.film, we said, didn't we? The place people want to
That's
find
the
out.
one.
Jared van Berkel, thank you so much for your time today.
Thanks, Lizzie.